Good evening, hope you're well. It's Damion here, your online presence strategist and graphic designer. This is the ELSON BROS podcast, episode 7. I don't know if you can see me. Fingers crossed you can see me. Let me just see. Thank you so much for popping in. Thanks so much for coming in. So it's the ELSON BROS podcast, episode 7. Okay, how to start your own website. All right. Let me just bring in my brother Daniel, if he is about. Let me just give a second to see if he's coming in. Just bear with me a second. I don't think I can see him just yet. So let me just see if I can ask him to come in. And not here just yet. Let's just see if he's popping in. Hi Ben Travis, thanks so much for joining. Hope you're well, my friend. I'm just getting sorted. I'll just get my brother Dan in here, hopefully. So just give me a second and we will start the episode 7. Just give me a second. Let me just see if he's popped in. And he's not in just yet. Hi, Lee Harrison. Hope you're well. Thanks so much for joining. I'm just waiting for my brother to come in. And let me just tell him. Fingers crossed he can pop in. Hope you're well, Lee. Hope you're well, Ben. Thanks so much for joining in. If you didn't catch the beginning of this live, it is the ELSON BROS podcast, episode 7, how to start your own website. I'm just seeing if I can get my brother Dan Elson in. Here he is. Get him in. Let's 2 seconds. Let's invite him to the broadcast. Right, I'm inviting him in now. Hope you're all well. Thanks so much for joining. Thank you so much for your patience. I know we're running a bit of 8 minutes late this evening. Getting Daniel in now. Hi Yasmin. Thanks so much for coming in. Hope you're well. If in case you're wondering, this is not a scarf on my neck. It's actually I've broken my arm. So it's getting quite annoying now. I broke it doing skateboarding, believe it or not. So I'm just inviting Daniel in now. Fingers crossed he can pop in and we can get going on this live. So I don't know why he's not popping in yet. It says inviting, but not really doing anything. So give me a second. Let me just try and remove and invite you back in. Oh, can't invite apparently. So you've gone again, Dan. Hi, Damon. Thanks for the shout. No problems at all, Ben. If you don't follow Ben yet, you need to follow Ben Travis, everyone. He's an awesome rapper, awesome entertainer, and he's got some new stuff coming out, I think, this Friday. So check out Ben Travis. He's called Absorb. His page is called Absorb, all capital letters, ABSORB. So check out Ben Travis, check his stuff out. Hi Janie, hope you're well, thanks so much for joining. Hi Elaine, thank you so much for joining. Hope you're well this evening. Just trying to bring in my brother Dan Elson, and then we're going to get cracking with how to start your own website. Alright, and what you're going to need for your website to start. And I'm just inviting him in now. Yvonne Miller, thanks so much for joining. Hope you're well. Awesome to see you here. For some reason we're having a bit of trouble. And here he is. Yo, Dan. I don't know what's happening. Not sure what's happening with the connection. But hey, we're here now.
Technical problems with Facebook, but yep. Good morning from me.
Good morning. So, yeah, get your introduction in there, Dan. And let's get rolling.
Yep, so I'm Dan, Damien's brother. I've got 7 years experience in digital marketing, working for digital marketing agencies, and I'm a world traveller. For the last couple of years I've been travelling on and off, and now I'm currently living and working in Sydney, Australia.
Fantastic. Right, so I'm Damion Elson, graphic designer and online presence strategist. For the last, I'd say, 15 years, I've been in design and marketing. So I've got a lot of experience in more so design than anything else and marketing. So yeah, so let's get cracking, Dan. And we're going to, we've titled this podcast, it's episode 7, believe it or not. We've titled this How to Get Started with Your Website, how to start your own website. So shall I get straight into it, Dan? And then shall I mention a few things and we'll talk. I tell you what, we'll talk. I'll start off by saying that you need a domain name purchase. So you need to purchase your own domain name. If you've not done that, you really need to get on that. And I think I've already recommended this. Yes, it's great for your business and stuff like that, but I always also recommend it for your own name as well. And definitely, it depends. I think going forward for the future, I think you need your own name, .co.uk or even .com. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Dan, but so it's purchasing your own domain name, and I recommend 123reg.co.uk for that. So I don't know what you think, Dan.
Yes, I suppose just going back to this podcast and the reason why we want to do this one. I keep getting asked. I'm sure you do as well, Damion. How you need to go about this, how you need to start, how you need to get your own website.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there want their own website, whether it be personal website or portfolio, or they just want to get in the website game, they want to sell something, they want an e-commerce website, or whatever it might be. And a lot of people are kind of like, it's very confusing, and we appreciate that. There's a lot of information out there, there's a lot of things you need to kind of learn. For example, first of all, what website do you use? Is it WordPress? Is it Squarespace? And there's all these other sorts of ones. So I think today's, up against it this morning. We've got about 35 minutes, but I think today's podcast is all about kind of the very start. So it's the very start of the journey for everybody, in terms of what you need to do to get up and running. How we can support you, how we can be there for graphics and assets and all this kind of thing for your website, as well as basically being there, setting it up, making sure it's SEO friendly, all this kind of stuff. So to go back to your point, Dave, in terms of domain name, absolutely, 100%. There's a number of reasons. First of all, professional. This looks more professional. If you're going to open an online e-commerce shop, then you need your own domain. It's as simple as that. And what we mean by your own domain is www. If it says that anymore, the bit in the middle, your domain, and then .com, .co.uk, whatever it is. So now you can have it like .com, .uk, .ng, whatever you want is pretty much available. And that happened a couple of years ago, where you can have any kind of variation. Now, a lot of people say, is it .com, .co.uk, .org? Well, what I normally say is, if you want to be like a world one, then have .com. If you want to be .co.uk, generally indicates that it's the UK. If it's .com.au, then you're Australia. So it kind of gives you that indication of where you kind of based or where you want to operate in. So what I'd always say is, like, it doesn't really matter. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just more of a presentation of where you might be hosted. But yeah, professional. And to be honest, a lot of people aren't going to take you serious without it. In terms of SEO and getting to the top of kind of organic rankings, then you need a domain. Just have it hosted on blah 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 .wordpress. Not professional. It's not going to really be that beneficial from SEO point of view. So there's a number of other reasons as well, but definitely 100% own domain, which can be tricky to get. Again, to buy it and to register it and then set up some hosting. All these kind of things, if you're a beginner, can sound overwhelming, really struggle. So it's something that you can get help with. You know what I mean? Damion here. Give us a shout if you need any help on that. But domain name, 100%. There's a million different domain websites out there. GoDaddy. Damion mentioned 123reg. You might have seen GoDaddy on TV. There's a lot of TV adverts. So these websites are there to buy your domain name. Generally quite reasonable, as long as you're not asking for something really ridiculous. But yeah, Damion makes a good point. I think in terms of making sure you get your own name, I think that's just kind of something like a vanity type thing, I guess. But just in case you ever want to do something around your brand name, that's where you want to go down on your website. But if you want to, your shop name or whatever it might be, then, pick something that kind of relates to your product, your categories, your service, whatever, and get that registered. And it shouldn't be out that much. But yeah,
They're
setting it up
affordable, aren't they, to start off?
yeah,
Affordable
absolutely.
domain names, affordable. So yeah, we've mentioned a few places where to get a domain name from, and it is quite simple and to purchase it. But I guess a lot of people that I speak to and stuff like that, it's very scary for them. So they like to just say, look, Damien, can you just deal with it? And I just say, yeah, not a problem at all. And just to let them know that, they'll still own their domain name. So that's really important, that even if you've got a domain name now, it's very important that you own your own, because there's companies out there which literally take your domain name, which is quite illegal to do, I think, now, with different laws going on. But it's a bit naughty, really, that companies are still doing it. So I've heard of companies still, taking people's domain names and not giving them to them, and obviously charging a lot of money just to give them the name back, that kind of thing. So for moving on and stuff like that. So I just say, look, you own your own domain name. So that's a really thing I want to stress to people, that they'll own their own domain name. Let me just see if. I'm sorry, I'm just going to read what Yvonne's put there. I know we'll probably move on to hosting now, but do you also need to check on Company House too if your business is not yet registered, for any case it's not available? You can look on Company House, but what we're talking about right now is actually about domain names. We're not talking about actually registering your business name or anything like that. It's actually just for your domain name. So I don't know if you want to answer that, Dan, if you know anything more about Company's House, but I think it's more separate than anything. So I just, if you do want to register your business, then great, go to Company House. But so I don't know what you think.
Yeah, but I guess that the point is kind of before if you're very at the start and you're thinking about the name for your business, then 100%, 100% check on like GoDaddy and them kind of websites to make sure that your domain name's free. Make sure that it's not going to be something excessive. There's a lot of domains out there that people bought a number of years ago, and they try and charge silly amounts. So that's why if you go with your name, generally it's quite cheap. It might be $5-6, whatever, $10 max for the year. So definitely check before you go down any route of registering domain names. Somebody might already have it, especially if it's a common thing or it's two different common things put together. People might have taken it. But in terms of your domain name, in the past, for example, if you use like a keyword, so if you're going to sell pet food and you're petfood.com or whatever, obviously not, but you know what I mean? Generally speaking, in the past, that kind of helped your SEO, so helps you push yourself to the top of the rankings because it was keyword rich. And what I mean by keyword rich is when somebody types in a keyword, that's keyword, and rich means it aligns with itself 100%. Now, that used to be a really good technique to try and get yourself higher up the rankings. Google don't really look at your domain name anymore, so it's less important, it's more vanity, it's more your perception of your business, your brand name, which is the most important thing. So, domain name, absolute 100%. This is kind of I suppose, a bit of a checklist in terms of what you need to do. But if you're new and you just want somebody to just do it and not worry about this and all that kind of thing, then we're here to help. So I suppose that's first of all in terms of your domain. We can drop some links into the comments and the description when we host to YouTube. Just so that you can go and you can have a look and you can have a play around searching for domain names. That's the kind of first step, I guess, buying your domain name. And
buying a domain name. So that can be scary just to start off with. But so domain name, and then what you need then is actually hosting. So you need somewhere to actually host your domain name and your website. You need to host your files, your website online. So you actually need hosting. So again, yes, this is another cost, but this is what, basically it's putting it on, if you like, it's called like a server, if you like, to the World Wide Web. And again, there's different companies out there that will offer hosting to you. And again, that's something that we can deal with. And if you're scared of it, like a lot of people are. So again, any questions on hosting, please comment below or just message anytime. So hosting's quite simple in the fact that, you've got to host your website online. So I don't know if you've got much to say about hosting, Dan, but it's quite simple.
Yeah, so it's the second step, really. So as soon as you've got a domain name, it needs to be somewhere. And in fact, it needs to live somewhere on the internet. Domain hosting websites. There's HostGator, who I'm with. There's GoDaddy even offer it as part of one of their services. There's tons. Again, we can include some links to help people direction and to get hosting. But the idea is that you need somewhere where you can put it. There's a lot of different plans out there. So if you're starting out, again, assistance, if that's what you need to get rolling, if this is your stumbling block, just starting. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook groups who are kind of at the stage of, like, I don't know what to call it, and asking big, massive, long paragraphs to people in groups, like, I don't know where to start with my name and this and that. And look, it's not that important, It's more about action, it's more about doing. And so your hosting is somewhere where your website lives. Again, don't really matter this early stage, kind of like, do you go with a simple hosting? Do you go for me? I always go for middle stuff, but simple hosting's enough. Normally it's like, one website, it's quite fast and all this kind of thing. And you don't really need any of the add-ons. Again, it can be a bit confusing, like Damion's saying, so if you need assistance, then we're there to help you. I know Damion's got a really good guide on his website, which takes you through kind of screenshots. I don't know if you've still got that, Damion, but it takes you through screenshots of buying the domain.
Yes, I have, yeah.
So we can include that below. But you just need this hosting. So in terms of costs, startup costs, the reason why I say internet businesses are the best is because you buy a one-off domain name, or maybe two. You might buy the .com, but you've got UK, but it's a one-off cost per year, and then your hosting is per month. So I think in combination, my domain name, iamdanelson.com, cost me, I don't know, first year maybe like $2.99, and then the second year and so on was about $7.99 American bucks. And then hosting is about £12-13, so about $15 a month. You can get it cheaper, you can get it more often, you can get very good deals to set up, like 99¢ and all this kind of thing. So it is confusing when you're at the start of the journey. I absolutely appreciate that. But these are fundamentals that you need to set up. You need to move away from blah 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 .wordpress.squarespace or whatever. And this is the reason why, you need to get these kind of things in order to start, so domain name, hosting, and then you get to choose kind of, I suppose, what kind of platform you use.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the third stage is setting up your platform. So we're basically going to recommend WordPress, and we've mentioned WordPress already. So literally, there's it's called WordPress. There's a platform, and it's kind of free to set up on your hosting, I guess. But again, it can be confusing for some people. But it's almost like a script that you set up through your hosting. But then once you've got your WordPress set up, once that's installed onto your web space, if you like, then it's a case of then creating that website as well through WordPress, through logging in. So there's quite a lot of different stages to do it for yourself. I mean, you can do it yourself, it's not a problem at all, but it can take a long time. I've known people to do it. It's took them for about a year to learn into it and get it to a website that they're happy with, which is, which a lot of businesses don't have that time. They want it up and running within a month, that kind of thing. So, so that so there's that again. There's that set up for WordPress. I mean, there's other platforms out there. It just depends what your website needs are. I mean, I can mention Magento for another one, but I mean, Magento is quite data driven and very codey, and it's almost more if you'd like, if you were going to sell thousands and thousands of products, you know.
Yeah, more commercial based. So
Yeah.
for like somebody
Yeah.
who's
It's
just starting out, like
it's not for startups. Not really.
no, for somebody who's starting out, it can get very confusing. It's definitely something that we can help in terms of getting you up and running. I suppose in like going back to last week's podcast, episode 6, wow, it was all about motivation and moving and keep going forward.
Yeah.
And to get very disillusioned is very easy at this early stage when we're talking about things you've never talked about before or probably heard of or understand enough, where you're like, oh, I've got to put money over and I don't really understand it. So, look, honestly, like, you know, the first battle is to get a website in order, and the technical side of things, if you need to pay somebody to do that rather than working it out and like you said, Damion, you know, waiting a year until you get something up and running. You know, if that's a stumbling block and you're really stuck at that start, just pay somebody to do it. Get somebody to set it up. You know, even if it might be get somebody to help you do the first, you know, standard pages you need, like About Us and Contact Us and your homepage and your blog. If you need them things, just get somebody to get that in order. You know, speak to them and say, this is what I want to do. And you have this dialogue. I'm all about, like, instead of just building your website and just going, there you go. It's all about, like, two-way communication, and it's about what you need from it and what we can do. So it's like the requirements on both sides. You both work together, you have a project plan of how it works and the deployment. But within that, there's also training. So there's a number of things you can set off on the backside and understand. So you can understand the hosting, the domain, setting up a WordPress and creating this world online. That's all right. You can understand that, but you don't necessarily need to do it. But the most important thing is actually the doing. So making sure your pages are correct and SEO friendly, and making sure that you update your blog and you follow a strategy for your website. Because if it's just ad hoc, you're not going to get anywhere. So all this kind of stuff we can help you with. So I always think, like, concentrate on what's the most important thing. If you're getting stumbling blocks at the early starts and stuff, just get somebody to do it. Get yourself rolling. Get yourself at that stage. Yeah. And we can train you, we can help you, we can support you monthly in terms of being in that position of, you know, writing content and stuff. If you wanna get your thoughts out there through video or audio or content and writing blogs, then concentrate on that. You know, you can't do everything. It's good to understand everything, I guess, or have a basic understanding. But look, I deal with people in companies every day with marketing managers, marketing directors. You can't know everything. So that's the reason why they have to go through an agency to help them out. You know, there's no, it's not like you're being defeated or anything like that. You know, it's just, you can't do everything. So concentrate on what you're good at and what you want to work at, and then you're going to progress quicker rather than trying to do everything and cutting yourself too thin, basically. So going back to Damien's point, in terms of websites, there's a couple of that we'd recommend. WordPress is for, like, let's say, if you want to probably sell a simple item or a simple product, if you want to just a blog website, or if you're going to offer a service, it's very good because you can set these things up called themes, which help you theme your website. These are paid for or free to use. Generally, free ones are just kind of registered.
And mobile friendly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that we suggest now going forward is mobile friendly. In the first instance, simply because that's where everybody uses websites. That's where everybody goes first of all, and then look at desktop. So you need to make sure you get a theme which is mobile friendly. But a theme comes with plugins and all this kind of stuff. So again, if you're new to this is going to rock your world and confuse you even more, I guess. But it's about bringing you on that journey, and that's something that we can do, and that's what we can support with. The ELSON BROS. So I think at this point, it's all about getting your theme right. Again, not dwelling on it. You know, it doesn't need to be 100%. Doesn't need to be like that. You know, to you, it might be like, oh, it needs to be 100% for us live. Well, no, let's just get it live. Let's get Google looking at your website. Let's get you set up, and let's get you moving forward. And you can always make it better. You can always improve on it. Yeah. And you can do that.
And people,
actual data and stand in it. So,
people join your journey
WordPress,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think WordPress, 100%, if you want a blog website, if you want to sell a service or offer a service or offer information out there, that's 100%. Now, another website that's really good, so the reason why we suggest WordPress is kind of it's set up in a way that is easy to use once you know how to use it in terms of setting up pages, blogs, SEO,
Adding
newsletters, all this
content,
kind of thing.
fresh content to your
Yeah,
website.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the bare, things you need to do, like that's easy to do, like daily tasks, let's call it, house tasks. All that's really easy to do. It's really set up, really easy to understand and navigate. SEO can be used as a plugin, so it's not something you have to worry about. You'd have to spend like thousands and thousands of dollars now on making a website. It's just not really required if you're at this early stage. If you're further down, you've got a business and you're making millions, then perhaps like a bespoke model needs to be used because you might have certain requirements. But at this stage, WordPress 100%. So it just kind of takes care of everything. So there's so many different plugins and all this kind of thing. So again, we can help you in all this process and training you up. I think it's important to show people how to do stuff. So instead of us just going, oh, we can create a page for you every time, it's like, look, the analogy of, giving a guy a fish, he can only eat once, but if you teach him a fish, he eat forever. So, let's just concentrate on the easy things, I think, is what I would suggest. Or the easy things that are easier to pick up, shall I say. So that's the first one. So WordPress, absolutely. There's no real difference between WordPress.com and .org. You sign up for any of them because at the end of the day, you're going to use your own website, domain, and hosting.
Yeah.
So no matter. So all this kind of stuff, we can get you up and running. The second one that we normally recommend is for e-commerce. What I mean by e-commerce is if you're selling products, if you're selling services, and plenty of them, then a website, a build, again, very similar to WordPress, is Shopify. So this is really awesome. It's a really good template. It came about a couple of years back. People like Tim Ferriss recommend it. Pretty certain the public shares in it. But it's really good. Again, you can have your own domain. It's hosted within them, which is quite good because again, it's fast and all this kind of thing, and they've set it up so that they're expecting you to sell so many products per month, so it's quick and all this kind of thing. Again, use themes, make sure that it's mobile friendly, all this kind of thing. So again, that's really good. Simple because they're all purposely built, set up to understand how people interact with websites, to understand where the button needs to be to click to next. And again, there's loads of plugins that you can add to it, which some of them are paid for, some of them are free. Again, you might be thinking, it's adding an expense on month after month, but look, you've got to look at it as a business. If you think you're going to do this in like 2 hours of your spare time a week and not put any money into it, then you're not really going to get anywhere. Or you're not going to get anywhere that's in a period of time where you might not lose motivation or that kind of thing. So you have to treat it as a business. You have to be spending probably just as long as your day job on your side job if you want to make it work. There's so much parts of it, and that's why you need a strategy. That's why you need somebody to help direction, because otherwise you're going to be like running all over the shop, and you're like, right, what do I concentrate on now? If you're a newbie right at the start of this journey, like, wow, so much stuff. You're like, look, if we give you a strategy, and this is how we work together with businesses and clients, we give you a strategy, we're like, right, we start here, we do this and this and this and this, and next is this and this and this and this. So it's all about doing it in order, I suppose, and making sure that there's a plan of action. Just to go all the way, so you cut yourself too thin, you lose motivation, you'll just be like, forget. So, the reason why I was mentioning Shopify is, like I say, it's perfect for shopping, having an e-commerce website, selling products online. It's very easy. I won't necessarily say it's nice drag and drop, but it's very much like that. Again, plugins are really good to set up for SEO, to make sure you can have your Google Analytics tracking on there, your retargeting, tag from Facebook, all this kind of thing. Again, it might be blowing your mind because I'm talking a different language. So, end of the day, sometimes it's good to understand, like I said, but, sometimes you have to just go, look, I just want to get up and running. I want a website where I can log in, I can add a page if I need, or add a product if I need, add a blog post if I need. perfect. We can teach you to do the basics so that you can concentrate on what's important for your business.
And I think
So yeah,
that's,
Shopify,
I think that's
fantastic
a
website to
very
use.
important. I think that's very important to actually mention the fact that you need that setup. If you've got the ideas and you want a website,
Yeah.
and you're almost getting stuck because you're just totally confused about the whole thing. It's worth having it all set up and ready for you, so then you know exactly what you can do with your website. It's very important to have it set up. Especially if you've got content that you want to share with your audience, then you need them on your website regular, on a regular basis, to come back and actually read on what what's different, what's new things are going on for your business. But yeah, just sorry, I mentioned Shopify again, so there were a few more bits for more tips on that.
Just your point, Damion, there as well. I suppose that goes back to the old strategy thing, like what you meant to be doing. Like it's easy to, skull all over the place, but you've got to keep on a strategy, on a plan. What's most important to keep getting you forward. How does SEO come into it? Why are you writing blogs? Well, there's got to be a purpose, but again, how they're structured, all this kind of stuff is new to new people, and it's easy for. I see Facebook groups out there kind of like, oh yeah, sign up for as course or whatever, we'll help you. But look, if you're a beginner, it's very difficult to start out because it's like a new world. It's I wouldn't say new language, but it's like a completely new world. Mm-hmm. So it is difficult. I'd always say concentrate on the most important things for you as a new person starting out in a business online. And there's tons of stuff that you've got to learn. Look, you can learn it over years and years and years, but me and Damion have done that for you. So we can help you skip ahead, as it were, so you don't lose that motivation. Because if you're not in this online world, we're passionate about it, we love it. So, we're like, right, what can we find out more? What can we do next? How can we be at the edge, cutting edge of stuff? So, yeah, absolutely, we can help there. I think, again, it's all about not being all over the place. It's all about your strategy, understanding kind of how you can move forward. But, yeah, Shopify is really good. I've used it in the past. I've set up websites on there to sell products. It does all the back end of stuff, and what I mean by that is it sets up your shipping, your costs, your tax on top of your shipping, all this kind of thing, and it goes through the PayPal payment, all this kind of stuff. And they use thousands of websites, or people use thousands and thousands of websites through Shopify. So if you go on a website, just type in Google, and you can see case studies of people, get some inspiration of what people are using it for, in terms of selling products and stuff. But generally, the niche you go, so the smaller categories you go, like clothing for dogs, for example, or jumpers for dogs, which have different nationalities on, perhaps. Something like that is very small and very niche. It sounds like, maybe there's not a lot of people. There's billions of people out there. There's a lot of people who like a lot of stuff. So that's where you've got to kind of do the research behind it and see if it's a product that people would use. So yeah, there's two major ones there, which I think personally from an SEO background, which is search engine optimization, actually getting free traffic in Google and Bing. They're set up for that. They're really good. You don't have to really worry about the ins and outs of stuff, but you just need to put in your title for your product, all this kind of stuff. Again, we can help you with meta tags and making sure that's SEO friendly. That's something we offer through a website audit. You got your own website, we can relook at it, suggest how we can improve these to help your organic rankings. That's something we can do as well. So again, we're very bespoke in terms of what we can offer. It's more like, let's have a frank discussion about what you want to do. We'll put you on the right path. Sometimes it's kind of what you want is, I understand what you want, or we understand what you want, sorry. But it's more like, we understand what you really want, and it's not that, because that won't get you where you want to go. No. So this is where you want to push. So sometimes you need that redirection. So these websites, perfect, like Shopify, WordPress. You'll see that a vast number of people are using these websites. And again, we can get you started on these websites. Now, the only thing that I would mention is keep away from the other websites out there. So Squarespace, And not to bash people's businesses, apologies. It's not what I like to do, but like Squarespace or any of these other kind of template drag and drop websites. Now, they sound good, or I'm a beginner, I just want to start out, or they sound really good and easy to use and drag and drop, and I can set up in hours and it's only going to be X per month, which might work out cheaper or the same, or
I'll
you
tell
get the
you, yeah,
support and all that
I'll
stuff.
tell you a
Now,
few
the
things.
reason why, yeah, like it
Sorry.
sounds really good. And sorry, Damien, go on.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to name call. There's two websites that people have come to me. I've got new clients based on the appalling service that they offer. So Yell.com,
Yeah,
they literally still try and own your whole website, your whole domain name, and for a huge amount a month, and they don't do anything for you. There's that kind of scenario.
yeah,
And also, I've heard of Wix as well, which is not very good.
yeah, yeah,
Just by people telling me that it's not very good. I've not. I might have come across it a couple of times in the past, Wix, but it's very bitty, if you like, working. They might have improved it now, but it was at the time it was very bitty to actually work with it. So again, this is why I'm so strong on. I'm recommending WordPress because that's my main platform, if you like, and you're recommending Shopify. So literally together we've got these two big platforms that we can actually recommend,
yeah,
to people. Again,
yeah,
it's good. I don't, advise people to dabble if they've already got WordPress set up, and it's awesome. Dabble, keep dabbling. But I just know that there's people out there that have got loads of questions and going, I'm back into my WordPress website now, but what do I do now? Or how do I do this? How do I do that? So I know there's a lot of people out there that have just got loads and tons of questions what they're going to do. I'll work on my website today or this week, and they won't get any further because they don't know how to do it. So. Kind of flipping on, yes, starting out on WordPress and you just totally, you're a startup, but also there's people out there that have started, but then they've no idea what to do. So, we can help with that as well. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky kind of, like I say, you've got to be spending a lot of time on this, and personally, I've ever spent like time on stuff that I like and enjoy, and I know that it's going to add value to my potential customers online. So to do all this kind of stuff and learn it all is very difficult. Um, that's a tricky thing, Again, I think it's all about having direction. It's all about having that assistance. So if it's something that you think, right, look, I've got a million questions. Every month I seem to find something new I'm not sure about, or I can't work it out. Look, we can offer a service to you, which is like an hour, 2 hours of his time a month, where look, we put together a strategy, and that's something that you follow. But if you get any questions or anything like that, then look, we can have some FaceTime, we can have emails back and forward. Sometimes you just need to bounce ideas off people. I'm the same.
yeah.
Also Damion. So,
I mean, for clients that I do, I find it super easy to actually create a video and send it via Messenger. So some clients that's what I've been doing. Just showing them little bits of tutorials that they can actually keep and do it again and again. So there's bits and pieces like that. You've got questions and you want to, you need our time, if you like, then we can do that. It's not a problem, is it? So with this technology
yeah.
we've got.
So
Yeah.
sometimes other people got the knowledge, you just want to pull it out of their head and use it yourself. But yeah, so I think in terms of these two websites, they're both there. Depending on what your requirements are, it would depend on which website you should go down. So both use both. This is suggestions coming from people who actually use them. So I've used Shopify in the past for my own e-commerce website, and we both use WordPress. So end of the day, kind of go with what people are using personally. I guess is always the advice I try to follow. Try to work out what they do, and then you follow that. So I think making sure you've got a good platform to start with, not using these websites which is drag and drop, and it sounds really good, but you just putting yourself in a bit more of a pickle a bit further down the line. The reason why they're not like so good is basically Google. Yeah, you're going down the wrong path, as it were. you're entering the wrong house, which eventually you'll have to pay somebody to swap it over to
Yeah.
something which is worthwhile long term. It's not about setting something up short term and thinking, oh, I'll do that next year, or I'll move over when I'm ready. No, start out properly. Start out as
Yeah.
in if you
Yeah.
would do if you
Definitely.
were buying
Yeah.
stock in the street, that kind of thing. So have that same mentality, even though it's online. And it might be all new to you, but it's not like it's this big world, and you've got to treat it as a business. And I think the reason why I keep saying the reason why they're not that good is mainly around probably search engine optimization. So these websites are very image focused, very template based around that. Now Google can't read these websites; they don't understand them. When it's scraping a website, it doesn't look at it like we do. It looks at it in terms of kind of what's the copy saying, what's the title saying, what's the page about. It's trying to work it out. Now, if you've just got a video on there, or a nice fancy interactive flash image introduction, or whatever it might be, yeah, it looks fantastic to a consumer, but you ain't got this balance of that between Google and the consumer. So Google can use it and can rank it and understand what your website's about. Thus, it can put you in organic search, and also the consumer. So you've got to have this balancing act, which is in the middle, which is all about SEO. And I think SEO is a very confusing thing to worry about at this stage. But again, if you've got somebody who can push you down that right path, then you're not going to go all over the shop. So there's very basic things that you can understand from SEO, and you don't really need to employ a big agency. You can really understand the bare things. But yeah, you need to be at this path where it's part for your consumer and part for Google, so they can understand what your website's about. So these websites, they were brought about to try and solve the classic newbie type thing, and generally when people go down that path, they're not going to really get anywhere, and they get disillusioned and they just don't go anywhere, and they think, it's a waste of time, this online thing. Well, it's not. It's billions of people making billions of pounds, so dollars.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what I would say
definitely
is that
viable.
as well as you're getting ranked high. We get you ranked really well in Google based on the experience that we've got. But then what you want to do is when people actually find you and click on you, you want to look the best you can be as your brand and your company. So there's no excuse for not looking professional, not looking the part, So again, I feel that you need to look good, to start off with. You need to look a good brand. You need to have a good logo, and your brand colours across the website need to be good, if you like, and then you cross over those colours as well across all your social channels. Repeating your identity really, and getting people to know of who you are and what you do.
Yes, it's your online presence identity, but you've got to get right at that early stage. You want people to have brand recall especially across all your online presence, social media, with your Facebook and your Twitter and your YouTube and your website. Everything's got to match up, and I think at this early stage, you've got to get it right. You've got to go it. You've got to literally have this checklist of stuff that you're getting sorted, because you're at this early stage. You've got to have all this kind of your house in order, I would say, before you can move along. So I think it's like I say, we've been talking about 5 minutes now, and it is very difficult at this early stage. And look, if you need to get assistance, look, let's start small. We want to grow your business. We don't want to just have partnerships with people where we just build a website and go, there you go. We want long-term businesses, because where I see it and where we see it is if we help you grow as a business, then we're all doing this jobs. We're all going to grow, and we're going to be able to offer more and more services to you. So if it's the fact that, look, you're struggling with your brand colours, your brand identity, your logo and stuff like this, look, Damien's got all these years of experience in design. I've got these years of experience in terms of what needs to work online, and yeah, you're absolutely 100% right. And your website has to be professional, and it has to work. So we all know this kind of stats where, like, if your website's really slow, so if it's above like 10 seconds, probably like 6 seconds now, in terms of loading speeds, then you're wasting money. potentially you're wasting money, because customers like me, like you watching this, um, we want things like to happen yesterday. So if it doesn't load in enough time, we're like, see ya, and we go back and all this kind of thing. So all these need to be considered, and WordPress, Shopify, I've got these hands down. Mobile first is absolutely key now, because that's where all your traffic comes from. In 1 year's time, that's going to be the case. Absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot out there to help you, but obviously the three main stages, I suppose, that we've kind of mentioned here is your web, get your domain name as
Yeah.
number one. Your hosting is number two, and number three is picking the right platform for yours. So WordPress, Spotify definitely for e-commerce. I'd say if you've got a big website, selling a lot of products, because it sets it up really well. It kind of navigates in terms of the theme. So yeah, and kind of keep away from these other websites which might struggle on SEO. Might mean that you don't necessarily own your own website, because they're hosting and they own everything. So again, very tricky to move away from their websites. And I'm afraid that's pretty much 750 for me in Sydney.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
suppose the big thing to mention here is, obviously we've been talking about 45 minutes. There's a lot to cover, such as at beginner rate, and that's why I get a bit stressed out when I see these Facebook groups like, oh, just start your own website. Well, it's not that simple. Like, you've basically just skipped out like 10 different steps. It is at the stage where, when you start looking into it, you're like, well, I'm not sure what I'm doing, so do I really want to pay any money? And I was like that when I started. I'm sure you were, Damion, as well. Like, do I really
Yeah.
want to pay this, £20 a month? Like, I'm not sure if I've got it right. Do I need hosting, which includes more than one website? What does that mean? Like, all this
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's very simple for somebody to say when they're rolling, I suppose, with this. That, oh, it's easy, just get your own website. Well, what does that mean? Like, what about my logo? And I think that's the reason why I keep seeing these messages, and people, keep messaging us about, how do you start out? How do you get to that point where you've got something physical that you can go, wow, I've got my own website, that's cool. Like that, what do I do next? And it's all about having that path, that journey, that strategy. Strategy is kind of a big buzzword, let's say, but it helps you keep on that path,
But
helps you know
what
where
I
to
would
go,
say
so you
is
don't
that,
scroll all over.
yeah, what I would say is that just getting a website is just not the end of. You know what I mean? That you have to
No,
keep working on your
just the
website
journey.
for
Start the journey.
people to keep finding you and keep searching
Yeah.
you, because otherwise someone may come along and your website just keeps plummeting down the ladder of Google or down
Yeah.
the ladder of search. So what I would say is keep on adding content to your website. I think we can end on that. I think Dan, sorry, we can end on
Yeah,
the
just
fact that you gotta keep adding to your website to be
yeah.
found. Yeah,
Yeah, it's absolutely on like I said, going back to treating it as a business, once you start out you shopping the street, that's when your journey begins. Getting your customers in, treating them right, getting repeat customers, bringing them back. There's so many different skills and things you can use online to do this. But yeah, it's a journey. I see it as like the self improvement journey where you try and get better every day by 1%. That's what you should do in terms of your business. Absolutely 100%. Like, you can't just get
yeah,
your website and go, well, where's all my traffic? Where's all my buyers? Well, it's not how
yeah,
it works. You need to do
yeah,
campaigns. You need to have a strategy. You need to actively promote your website, get people back to your website. All stuff that we can do, but it's a bit further down the line. So get your house in order, then we can concentrate on having a strategy which looks at bringing in your customers, keeping your customers, uh, keep bringing them back into your world. But yeah, it's in terms of kind of Google and stuff like that as well. Yeah, fresh content, unique content, pumping it out. That's useful to your consumer, not just there for the sake of it. Having a purpose. Again, always got to look at that. It's all stuff that you need to do further down the line. It's building that online presence, building that brand up, like you would do in
yeah,
the street, and to get customers over and over again, that's the main goal. So yeah, I suppose we're gonna have to call this probably part one. because there's so much to talk about. So, perhaps what we'd suggest, Damion, maybe is that next week we'll do part 2. You know, what comes after of like the scary, like you've spent a little bit of money, you've set up somewhere, you perhaps helped us for some advice and we've given you a direction. You know, what looks like after you've done your domain name, your hosting, and choosing your platform. You know, I've got this website in front of me, I'm looking at it and like, what do I do now?
What do next?
What's most important? You know, what kind of pages do I have to have early setup for a website? You know, how does it work? How does it navigate? Where does SEO come into it? You know, if I've got products on there, you know, how does all that work? So
because there's definitely definitely because there's people like
and stay tuned for next week for part 2, which we'll go into a bit more depth in terms of your website. But if you found anything here fascinating, interesting, confused the hell out of you, you're not quite certain where to start, what to do, then we want to help you. We want to help you grow as a business.
Throw the questions
move
in the
forward
comments.
And get better and stuff. Absolutely. Questions. You know, if there's anything on when this goes live on YouTube, if there's anything on there, then post your comments. We'll post some links. Won't be this morning from me, but I'll post some links of to Shopify and to GoDaddy and personalize for your domain name, your WordPress, all this kind of thing. If people who are watching, if you're a bit further along the journey and you know something that you found of interest, or it's inspiring or it's helpful, then post it below. Damion, post your how to do domain name and hosting. It's like a simple step-by-step guide. I say simple, sorry, but again, if it's very difficult for you and you don't, you know, you're gonna invest some money, then get it done properly, you know. And let's have a discussion if there's anything that you want help with or assistance. It will be digital strategy or setting up, or you know, you might have a question like, oh, we're thinking about going down this route, but WordPress, can you tell us more about, like, oh, can you set it up for us, or can you help assist, or can we have like training, or whatever it might be. You know, any questions, help each other as well, because that's really good. You know, find other people on your journey who are watching this video. So there's an awful lot to do. You know, it's all about getting your house in order, setting up, and then it's a constant improvement, constant journey ahead of how you keep doing that to move forward and get more customers and more repeat customers. And that's pretty much about it from my side. So stay tuned for part 2 next week in Sydney. People listening and watching from Sydney. Then it's 7 a.m. next Wednesday. And Damion, go.
No, that's cool. I'm just looking. I'm just finding that link actually you just mentioned there, because I remember doing it, and maybe I probably need to update a bit. I don't know, but it is how to set up a WordPress blog. I don't know if that's the one you mean. But I've definitely got that on my website. So I'm just looking at it to see how far in terms of it is in the search, in terms of search. So just having a quick look at that. But just if anyone's got any questions ever, we're just here to help you to set up. You know, get yourself online and start actually making some return on investment in what you invest in yourself into. You know, we're just here to help. So. Every week we're here to help, whether we're giving value out here, whether we're doing a Q&A, we're just going to keep doing these episodes every week. So if you need me, you know where to get me. You can message me in Messenger. You can contact at damionelson.com. That's my email address. Just get in touch if you need anything. Thanks so much, Jan, for coming in. Thanks for your time. I know you've got to rush off now, but let's call it, and let's be in touch next week. Episode 8 next week.
Stay tuned for episode 8, part 2 of setting up your own website. Cheers, Damion. Have a good evening.
Cheers, Dan.
Hope the arm gets better. Contact us if you want more information, but lots of information at the bottom.
Cool. Take care, guys. All right, see you.
Ciao.
Bye. See you, bye.